Donald J. Trump's policy or declaration that he wants to take over the Gaza Strip and expel the Palestinians from the Gaza Strip is inhumane and irrational. You do not expel Palestinians from anywhere. We went through that in 1947 and 1967, and it ended up in a disaster for Israel and for the Palestinians. It ended up in a war that lasts forever. It ended up in many, many casualties on the Palestinian sides and on the Israeli sides. It is time to recognize the fact that the American government is incapable of giving peace, incapable of making peace in Israel-Palestine, and it is time to recognize that the Israeli and the Palestinian governments are incapable of making peace in Israel-Palestine. Not only are they incapable of making peace, they are dangerous governments. They are a danger to the Jewish people in Israel, to the Palestinian people in Palestine, because they bring more wars, more destruction and violence, and they have no vision for peace, none whatsoever. Donald Trump's declaration only makes the idea of a federal government in Israel and Palestine make sense, because the federal government will continue to allow or will permit or will exist while the Israeli and the Palestinian will have their governments. It will give security and prosperity to the people of Israel and Palestine. It will have a safety net. It will give a safety net to the Palestinian people and the Israeli people, who will continue to have their governments. They will continue to have their way of lives, but the federal government will be able to make peace. The federal government will be mutual to the people of Israel and Palestine, and according to the Constitution, will only be able to pass legislation if that legislation affects the sovereignty of Israel or Palestine or their governments. Then those governments will have a veto power. So there is no fault whatsoever. There is no possible reason to object to having a federal government in Israel-Palestine that gives a veto power to the Israeli and the Palestinian governments on matters which violates their sovereignty. If we truly want peace, if we truly want security, then the idea of a federal government makes perfect sense. And I hope you support that idea and engage in our simulations. I would love to hear, what is your objection? Why would you not support the idea of a federal government in Israel-Palestine? Because we cannot have continuous, preposterous suggestions by the American governments, the Israeli governments, and the Palestinian governments. These governments are a danger to the Israeli and the Palestinian people. They don't want peace. They are incapable of making peace and giving security to the people in Israel-Palestine. Thank you.